This show is brought to you by Safety FM.
Program is rated MA-LSV. It contains strong language, sexual situations, and violence. It is intended only for mature audiences.
Finally, show with the balls to call it like it is. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Countdown to audio torture.
The Rated R Safety Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Let the eardrum pain begin.
Forget the corporate bullshit. This is the Rated R Safety Show with your host, Dr. It doesn't matter who the host is.
Oh, truer words have never been said. It does not matter who the host is. What has always mattered is who the listeners are. Anyways, today is Tuesday, November the 4th of 2025, day 308th of the year, and only 57 more days to go. We are broadcasting from the Safety FM studios in Orlando, Florida, and coming across the multiverse known as Safety FM, and then we are hanging out with our friends and colleagues over there.
You're being infiltrated. Radio Big.
Oh, yes, some infiltration in Radio Big is never a bad way to go, that's for sure, as we are talking, because, you know, that's just kind of how it goes about stuff. That is the keen to everything that is going on. Okay, so with that being said, why don't we start talking and telling you a little bit about what our show consists of. Our show consists of safety in the news, news and safety. That's it. That's what we talk about. We bring in some professional broadcasters. They'll talk a little bit about some of the stuff that's going on. And then we kind of just take a scoop around of the things that are happening. That's it. If you want to interact with the show, it's a simple process on doing so. All you have to do is go to callinradio.com. That's callinradio.com. That will make sure that you're moving and grooving and everything's going perfectly fine. And then once you get there, call in radio, you'll have the options of doing a video, an audio message, or a text message. So you got some 3 options there in regards to what's going on. And once you do that, it'll give me a little prompter on the screen over here, and then I'll know what to do next. That's kind of how it goes. Outside of that, that's it. That is what we do. We bring some stuff in and go from there. And sometimes we give you some tips.
A super simple way to increase your charisma and your personal magnetism comes down to what I call the 3SP, 3-second pause. You might have noticed that people who rate really highly on charisma have this quiet confidence about them. If you've ever watched an interview with one, you'll notice that they often pause before answering a question. They remain silent, but they maintain eye contact for around 3 seconds. Not only does it convey confidence and self-assuredness, it also gives them time to collect their thoughts, to take a breath, and deliver a really well-considered response. This is a great tip for professional environments, or if you experience any kind of interaction anxiety where you blurt out the first thing that comes to mind. Try out the power of 3SP.
Okay, the power of 3SP. Like I said, we have some tips for you as we are doing our thing. That's just kind of how we go. A lot of stuff needs to be done that way. Give it some time before we just kind of throw it out there in regards of the stuff that's going on. Okay, so let's continue talking about some things. So here's how we're going to do this. I'm going to bring in my amigos from Feature Story News. They're going to tell us a little bit about what the hell's going on, and then we'll make a run for it. What do you think? Like that idea? Well, I like the idea. So let's run with that. Did I tell you this? We are being simulcast on Safety FM and on RadioBig.fm at the same time, of course. That's what simulcast means. And then we're kind of doing some video stuff also. So if you did miss anything on the show, don't worry. If the app that you're on is not rewinding with the live radio feed, it's okay. If the video is not rewinding, it's okay. Here at the top of the hour, we're going to go ahead and we'll drop this thing into a podcast immediately as well. So it's kind of multi-level on how we do it. So don't worry about any of that stuff. So anyways, with that being said, why don't we go ahead and do this right now? Let's go ahead and bring in our friends from Feature Story News and let's get them moving right now.
Here is the news on the Rated R Safety Show.
From Feature Story News, I'm Rebecca Bunton in Mumbai. The Trump administration says it will only provide partial food stamp payments this month due to the government shutdown, which is now in its second month. That is expected to further strain the 42 million Americans who rely on the food assistance program known as SNAP. Ira Spitzer reports from Washington.
In a court filing, the Justice Department confirmed the government will use limited emergency funds for November payments, but will not tap additional dollars that could have provided full coverage. The move affects roughly 42 million low-income Americans and could leave many struggling to buy groceries in the coming days and weeks. The update comes as the government shutdown drags into its second month, and many food banks say they are now bracing for increased demand. Both parties have blamed the other for the shutdown, with Democrats saying the Trump administration is refusing to negotiate over extending health care subsidies for millions of Americans. Ira Spitzer, Washington.
Donald Trump is doubling down on his threats to send military forces into Nigeria, guns a-blazing, as he suggested on social media. President Trump kept open the possibility that the US would deploy troops to the African nation as he left Florida and headed back to the White House for the week. Mitch McCann reports.
Speaking to reporters, President Trump was asked if it was possible that the US could deploy troops on the ground or carry out airstrikes across Nigeria. The question came only a day after he wrote on Truth Social that if the Nigerian government continues to allow the killing of Christians, the US would stop aid and assistance and may go and, quote, guns a-blazing.
They're killing record numbers of Christians in Nigeria. And they have other countries very bad also. You know that part of the world very bad. They're killing the Christians and killing them in very large numbers. We're not going to allow that to happen.
India and the European Union are in crucial talks this week, with senior negotiators from Brussels sitting down with their Indian counterparts in New Delhi to push for a landmark free trade agreement. This comes as India looks for stable trading partners, as US tariffs of 50% continue to strain New Delhi's ties with Washington. Ishan Garg reports.
A high-level delegation from the European Union is in New Delhi for week-long negotiations aimed at resolving outstanding issues in the proposed India-EU Free Trade Agreement. The European Commission's Director General for Trade is holding talks with India's Commerce Secretary this week, signalling the urgency on both sides. The discussions focus on critical areas, trade in goods, services and rules of origins. Both sides have set their sights on concluding the agreement by December ahead of a planned Leaders' Summit in Delhi next January. For India, deepening trade ties with Europe comes at a time when US tariffs have hit major Indian exports such as textiles, gems and auto parts, bearing the heaviest load. Ishan Garg, New Delhi.
From bureaus worldwide, this is FSN.
With FSN Spotlight, I'm Simon Marks. Today, George Clooney regrets. The actor and director says it was a mistake for the Democratic Party to replace Joe Biden with Kamala Harris in last year's US presidential election. It was Mr. Clooney who first publicly urged President Biden to ditch his re-election efforts in a newspaper article last summer. When his opinion piece was published in the New York Times last July, it served as a depth charge exploding under the Biden campaign. Hugely hugely influential within Democratic Party circles, he said the quiet stuff out loud, arguing that the president was too old and frail to think about serving a second term in the White House. Weeks later, the Biden campaign fell apart, leaving Kamala Harris with just 107 days to campaign for the Oval Office. Now, in an interview with CBS, Mr. Clooney says the entire process was a mistake.
The mistake with it being Kamala is that she had to run against her own record, and it's very hard to do if the point of running is to say I'm not that person. You know, it's hard to do. And so she was given a very tough task. I think it was a mistake, quite honestly. But we are where we are. We were going to lose more House seats, they say. So, you know, I don't know.
He argues the party should have held a primary contest to replace President Biden, a contest it is possible Kamala Harris would not have won. She, meanwhile, is indicating she might run for the presidency again in 2028. With FSN Spotlight, I'm Simon Marks.
The main news again. The Trump administration says it will only provide partial food stamp payments this month due to the government shutdown, which is now in its second month. Donald Trump is doubling down on his threats to send military forces into Nigeria guns a-blazing. India and the European Union are in crucial talks in New Delhi this week in a push for a landmark free trade agreement. And that is the latest feature story news. Rebecca Bundin reporting.
You are listening to something magical. You're listening to the Rated R Safety Show.
In safety, in my opinion, you woke up. You saw the system, the simulation, the structure that trained you to mistake compliance for care. Safety mutation. Information misdirection picks up where the signal fractured. Because the system didn't shut you down, it rebranded you. It packaged your voice. Sold your rebellion as a new initiative. And smiled while doing it. This isn't a manual. It's a decoded transmission about what happens when slogans replace stories, when safety becomes marketing, and when truth gets mirrored so perfectly, you forget it was ever yours. You'll see the mutation. Learning teams turned into theater, zero harm turned into optics, and feedback turned into formatting. But the signal didn't die. It was redirected. Safety Mutation is Book 2 of the Signal Transmission Trilogy. Available now in print, Kindle, and audiobook. Narrated by the author J. Allen, Ph.D. Because the system adapted. Now it's your move.
If you're anything like me, you have certain tendencies to put things off, such as filing taxes, seeing the doctor, working on that home improvement project that you're supposed to be doing, but you just haven't gotten to it. And while most of the times it works out, the one thing in life that you really cannot afford to wait on is setting up term coverage life insurance. You've probably seen life insurance commercials on TV and thought, yeah, I'll look into it later. Well, the answer is no. This isn't something that you can wait for. Choose life insurance through Ladder today. Ladder is 100% digitals, no doctors, no needles, no paperwork. When you apply for $3 million in coverage or less, just answer a few questions about your health in an application. Ladder's customers rate them 4.8 out of 5 stars on Trustpilot, and they've made Forbes' Best Life Insurance in 2021's list. You just need a few minutes and a phone or a laptop to apply. Ladder's smart algorithm works in real time, so you'll find out if you're instantly approved. No hidden fees, cancel anytime, get full refund if you change your mind in the first 30 days. Ladder policies are issued by insurers with long proven histories of paying claims. They're rated A and A+ by AM Best. Finally, since life insurance costs more as you age, now is the time to cross it off your list. So go to ladder.com/safetyfm today to see if you're instantly approved. That's LADDER life.com/safetyfm. Ladderlife.com/safetyfm. Hey there, Jay Allen here with Safety FM, where we just don't talk about safety, we live it. And when it comes to safeguarding your future, there's no better partner than Acorns.
This part of the show has been brought to you by Acorns and a powerful tool that makes saving and investing easier than ever. We all know that investing can feel overwhelming, especially with busy lives and no time to dive into the nitty-gritty of financial markets, but Acorns changes the game.
With Acorns, you don't need to be a financial expert or have a hefty sum of money to get started. In fact, Acorns lets you begin with just spare change. All about those small steps, small investments today that can build into something much bigger over time. Acorns recommends that the expert build portfolio designed to fit financial goals. Then it does the heavy lifting for you by automatically investing your money. It's like having a financial advisor in your pocket working around the clock to help your money grow. So why wait? Head over to acorns.com/safetyfm or download the Acorns app and take that first step towards securing your future today. Remember, in the world of safety and investing, small actions today can lead to mighty outcomes tomorrow. Paid non-client endorsement. Compensation provides an incentive to positively promote Acorns. Investing involves risk. Acorns Advisors, LLC, and SEC registered investment advisors. View important disclosures at acorn.com/safetyfm. At Safety FM, we're all about making smart decisions on the job and in life. So take control of your financial future. This is Jay Allen reminding you to stay safe, stay smart, and invest in your tomorrow.
Here is another bit for our competitors to copy. Rated R Safety Show.
Hold on, are you saying copying is going around? That's terrible. That's terrible to hear. Okay, so let's start talking about some things going on inside of the world of the multiverse. Because, well, that's what we do. We talk about some stuff that is going on. So I have to tell you, if you were having some big plans this weekend about some sporting events, let's talk about this. The much-hyped Jake Paul and Gervonta Tank Davis fight, originally stated for November the 14th at Miami Casella Center, was set to stream on Netflix Live, has been officially canceled, according to the announcement, the most valuable promotion MVP. And the streamer cancellation follows civil lawsuit filed against Davis last week by ex-girlfriend Courtney Russell, who accused the boxer of battery, false imprisonment, kidnapping, and emotional distress. His trainer Calvin Ford dismissed the claims as nonsense, saying that Davis is doing great. Davis, who's currently on probation for a 2020 hit-and-run case, has previously has domestic violence charge dropped against him in August. MVP said that it launched an immediate investigation into the allegations and decided to pull the plug on the bout, emphasizing that it's unequivocally condemns any form of violence. Netflix and MVP still plan to have Jake Paul headline another major boxing event in 2025, though the details of the new opponent date and venue are still under wraps. So I will let you know exactly as we find out more information. So what do you think about this? Just some stuff, always some stuff. I mean, you know how it is. You hear this, you hear that, and then things are moving and grooving, and that's the way that it goes. Just kind of that story. So take a listen to this. Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer took a jab at President Trump over his fiery new 60 Minutes interview, joking on X that maybe he should file an FCC complaint against Trump for editing his own unhinged interview, mocking Trump's past accusation of media bias. Schumer quipped reference Trump's previous lawsuit against CBS, where he claimed that the network edited an interview with Vice President Kamala Harris to make her look better. The case, which many legal experts called baseless, was bizarrely filed at a Texas false advertising law. Despite that, Paramount Global, CBS parent company, settled for $16 million just as it was seeking federal approval for a merger with Skydance. Approval the FCC granted weeks later. Trump's latest 60-minute sit-down with Norah O'Donnell reportedly lasted 73 minutes, but only 28 minutes aired. The full transcripts revealed portions that CBS had cut, including Trump rallying against Joe Biden political opponents and his indictments, and reveals claims that the 2020 election was rigged. So there you go. I don't know. It's just one of those things that comes up. So we get to talk about it and go, okay, this is what's happening. Well, I mean, what do you think? I mean, it's an interesting one because, what was it, a year ago? Maybe a little bit longer, maybe a little bit less. I don't know. Timelines are just terrible for me. I always look at it and go, okay, So if this is something that is good for the goo, it's good for the geese. So we have to talk about it. It's just one of those things that that we need to do. So let's talk about this because, Halloween just finished. And we are already here kind of going into the next holiday, which would be Thanksgiving. But let's ask this question. Apparently there are people complaining about hearing Christmas music and Christmas-related things on TikTok. And 2 women complain about this, that November's too early to start getting into the Christmas mood. So is it too early? Take a listen.
November is not Christmas. November is autumn. I opened this app this morning to jingle bells and ho, ho, ho. You guys, slow down.
So what are you thinking? Is it too soon to be playing the Christmas stuff? Is it too soon to be taking a look-see-ooksy about what the hell's going on out there? Because, people get super excited about the holidays. They just do. It's kind of how it goes. Like, I will tell you, I have an acquaintance that she has a Christmas tree, okay? And she does not take the Christmas tree down at all. It stays up year-round. And people are going, hold on, explain this to me? Okay, so let me explain how this works. The Christmas tree, or the tree, get this point, because I don't even know if you can call it a Christmas tree, is wrapped around whatever holiday corresponds. So if it's Valentine's Day, it has Valentine's theme. If it is, let's say, Halloween, it has a Halloween theme and all that kind of stuff. So the tree never comes down. The tree is the basis of what the hell's going on. Does it make sense? I don't know. Do people do strange stuff? Absolutely. So there you go. Okay, let's continue talking. Guy is so desperate for love that he's taking this drastic, potential dangerous measure to find it. Eric Jonas, a 38-year-old from Los Angeles fashion designer, got tired of waiting for love to find him, so he decided to advertise himself, literally. Armed with a poster board, and it read, "I'm single." Jonas stood on the overpass above Highway 101, hoping to catch the eye of a potential partner speeding by. The 3-hour stunt, which cost him about $30 and a bit of pride, drew honks, cheers, and even a few jeers from commuters. But Jonas said that the response was overwhelmingly positive. "I felt like a pop star," he joked. "People were rooting for me." Only one cranky driver called, "Get a life," but Jonas took it in stride. "This is my life. I'm single and sick of it." Jonas's do-it-yourself approach seems to have paid off. His video went viral, attracting dozens of messages from admirers, mostly from women. As a gay man, though, Jonas is still waiting for Mr. Right. Ideally, someone creative, outdoorsy, and maybe a little daring, too. "I wanted to do something that helps people realize they're not alone," he said. "If you're single, don't give up. Get creative." I remember years ago having a conversation with someone where they were saying, why don't we just start renting some of those boards? The big billboards that they used to rent out, and just say, "Hey, I'm available," and post your picture. And then instead of putting available in like the phone number to rent it, the phone number to how to be reached. I thought it was a pretty funny idea at the time, but when it comes to certain things, I have like no common sense whatsoever, but you already know that.
Radio Big. Streaming 24/7 at radiobig.fm.
Okay, so take a listen to this one because it gets very weird when we start talking about some things going on, as always. Tony Romo gave NFL fans an unexpected laugh on Sunday as he was caught grunting mid-broadcast during CBS coverage of Chiefs-Bills game while breaking down the defensive holding call of Buffalo Colts Bishop. The former Cowboy quarterback analyzed the replay, pointed out both sides were committing infractions, and then suddenly let out a groan live on the air. The camera never showed Romo, but the play-by-play partner, Jim Nantz, leaving viewers wondering what exactly was happening in the booth. Romo powered through the moment, saying, "But I saw on the other side as well, so you'll get the call," pretending that nothing happened. Social media, of course, had a field day with it. Fans flooded the X stuff with jokes, one quipping, "I think Romo had gas," while another simply wrote, "That was weird." So take a listen.
And you'll see right here, pulled, and then another hold right there. I think it was...
I don't know what exactly just happened there, but it did happen. So there you go. Some stuff to think about as we are talking. Okay, a guy is planning to crack open a bottle of beer from 150 years ago. Scottish brewer Douglas Sharp, founder of Innis and Gunn, is reviving the legendary 1,875-year-old beer, or excuse me, the 1875 beer originally made in Arctic explorers. Alep's Arctic Ale, he paid 3,000 euros for one of the surviving bottles more than a decade ago. His family decided to crack it open, using to create a modern replica called Innis and Gunn 1875 Arctic Ale. The original was brewed to survive in the freezing north, boasting around 9% alcohol by volume, 6 times the calories of regular beer, and a syrupy texture so thick that it needed buckets to move. Sharp's version made partnerships with the reborn Allison Brewery. Honors with the 150th anniversary of the ale, Allison founder called it one of the strongest, most extraordinary beers ever made. More like Madeira than ale. The limited edition recreation will pour later this year in select pubs in Glasgow and in London. So, guess you could say the beer lagering around 150 years, best before 1880. Well, the ship has sailed literally. One sip and you'll be singing the shanties in your sleep. Brewed for Arctic explorers because hypothermia pairs best with buzz. This isn't an age beer. It's the one that's survived the Industrial Revolution. Nothing says cheers like cracking open something Queen Victoria could have sneezed on. And most beers go flat. This one flatlined back in the 1800s.
Safety never sounded so terrible.
Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so there you go. Do you want to... let's continue with some of the weirdness, because I think that this is what kind of gets people excited about some stuff as we are talking. Anyways, Idaho resident record-breaking machine David Rush has done it again. This time, proving that you can play catch with dessert. Rush, who already holds over 300 Guinness World Records, just added another one to the list by catching an ice cream scoop with a cone from 55 feet 5 inches away. He teamed up with Josh Vandenberg, part YouTuber Josh Horton's crew, so that the sweet stunt with Simi Valley, California. Vandenberg launched the ice cream with a scoop, and Rush steady as ever snagged it perfectly in his cone without failing. Or without it falling out. I guess without failing and then without it falling out. Rush said that the official distance was measured from the front of Josh's front foot to the front of mine, and the ice cream landed in the cone and stayed there. No word whether they ate the evidence afterwards, but 55 feet, that scoop has definitely earned the spot in a record book, no doubt about that. Okay, take a listen to this one, because this one gets a little bit weird. Police and firefighters in Georgia pulled off a wild suburban rescue after finding a deer stuck, between the bars of a metal fence. According to the police department, the animal had apparently been auditioning for the next urban wildlife surprise when it wedged its torso through the gate. Officers and DeKalb fire rescue crews use hydraulic rescue tools, the same that are used for car extractions, to gently pry the bars apart, free the trapped deer. The rescue ended happily with animal trotting safely back to the woods. The department joked that its team had earned its unofficial titles, Bambi Bouncer and Rodent Wrangler, of the large hoofed variety, I might add. So there you go. There you go. Okay, so what should we talk about? I hate talking about sports, so I'm going to skip over that. You are aware that there are some stuff that is there about that, because that's how it is. So, have you heard this? Because I want to know your opinion about this, because of the kind of work that you do. I'm pretty sure that you already know part of this. But let's talk about this. Cambridge University analysts found that people who use mild profanity are rated as more trustworthy, while swearing breaks down pretenses and signals authenticity. So no, dropping the occasional hell or damn doesn't make you crude. It makes you real. So there you go. So what happens if you drop the average F word? Does that make you something else? So there you go. I'm just asking. I'm just trying to figure it out. I just want to know. Want to know, because why would you not want to know that? Some things to think about. So let me talk about this one. You know that everybody has this show that they've. Let me see if I can find it. Of course, let me see if I can do the deed as we are talking. Everybody has this show that they love. You know, you have a show. Somebody has a show, but when a show does something out of the ordinary, people normally will ask questions. So Jeopardy issues apology after a clue sparks debate over AI-generated content. Ken Jennings found himself in the unusual spot apologizing for the internet favorite pig man meme, John Pork, during the October 24th episode of Jeopardy. A clue of the category, Daddy, is there really a blank, blank, blank? Described Pork as an AI-generated TikTok image, which immediately set off online confusion and backlash. Jennings even admitted on the air, I didn't understand any of that. Who is John Pork? The sentiment viewers clearly shared. Fans quickly pointed out that John Pork is the viral meme of a man with a pig's head. Actually, predates modern AI. After the viewers called the inaccuracy on social media, Jennings posted a TikTok apologizing on November the 1st. He explained that the AI is often used for John Pork's more recent videos, calling the original image AI generated was misleading. It's possible it wasn't the best wording either. Jennings admitted that adding with a touch of humor, John, I hope he'll forgive me, and all of us at Jeopardy, for any insults to his memory. So there you go. Some stuff to think about as we are talking. I'm going to talk about this one real quick, and then we'll get the hell out of here. Let's see. Things got heated on The View yesterday when Whoopi Goldberg clashed with her own producers live on the air, making a controversial joke about President Trump. During the segment about presidents using auto pens to sign officials' documents, Goldberg quipped that Trump used an auto pen to pardon former CEO of Changbig, CZ Chow, who was recently released from 4 months of prison sentence. The comment implied that Trump might not have known who he pardoned. Moments later, co-host Sonny Hostin handed Goldberg a note from the producers prompting an on-air meltdown. Reading aloud, Whoopi snapped, "What the hell? What? We don't know if Trump used an auto pen to pardon? It was a joke." She then tore the note into pieces and scolded the network, saying, "No one understands nuances anymore. You know that when I'm making a joke." The unscripted blow-up forced ABC to issue legal clarifications live, clarifications that are no evidence that Trump used an auto pen for the pardon. The fiery exchange amid the tension between the View's outspoken panel and ABC leadership. Executives reportedly urged the host earlier this year to tone down their constant criticism of Trump. Take a listen to this.
The Trump family has made about $1.8 billion profited off of this government. And he said that Joe Biden didn't know who he was pardoning using an auto pen. How come you don't know who this guy is?
Because he used an auto pen. What?
I love when Sonny passes notes.
We don't know if Trump used an auto pen to pardon. It was a joke.
Yes. We don't know if Trump used an auto pen to
Oh,
pardon.
come on.
But we do know that he didn't know who that crypto guy was.
Well, I'm sorry. You know, the hardest thing about this job now is no one understands nuance.
Okay, so there you go. Controversy creates cash. So hopefully that some crash was created right there as we are talking. Anyways, let's see. We're past the time. Let's get into our main story right now.
Here is our main story on the Rated R Safety Show.
So you know that we have to talk about everything that goes on inside of the multiverse, and well, here we are on Tuesday, November the 4th of 2025, and you made it through Monday without being logged, tracked, or scanned, or performance evaluated by an AI productivity tool. So congratulations, you're one of the last free humans alive in the modern workplace. Yep, I said all of that because I swear it's like every company suddenly decided that trust is an outdated concept and we're not managing people anymore. We're managing data points. Have you noticed this? We're managing data points on wearing shoes. Like we're managing data points on who touched the wall. We're managing data points on all this weird shit that makes absolutely no sense. And you thought safety metrics were bad. Well, we're living under the digital babysitters that records your keystrokes, screenshots, your desktops, flags you, and idle because you took a second to think. You are aware that most computers inside of your organization have keyloggers on them. Imagine explaining that to your supervisor. Oh, yeah, sorry that I was reflecting on how not to crash the forklift, but the AI tracker thought that I was slacking. You know what I'm talking about here? I mean, think about it for a moment. You know that you have that person that you talk to that at some point has told you, I keep on moving the mouse, that way they think that I'm still at my computer. Or I have set something up for it to continue to move. And of course, as we are talking about this, it's all the reasons that we use all these trackers, it's because of safety.
Duh.
Right? That's always the line. The cameras, it's for your safety. The wearable trackers that vibrates every time that you turn your head the wrong way, it's for your safety. The heat map of your body movement in the warehouse, totally not creepy. It's just for your safety. Have you heard any of this before? Well, we used to say that safety is everyone's responsibility. Have you heard that garbage before? Now, surveillance is for everyone's is for everybody's safety, or maybe it's the new reality of what people want you to know. So let's talk about that for a second. Somewhere along the lines, we decided that instead of fixing broken systems, we just watch people harder. Think about it. I can tell you that years and years ago, that was a thing for me. I got to watch people on cameras as they were driving because we had behavior modification devices inside of people's vehicles. Instead of improving the work environment, we've put a dashboard on it. And instead of trust, we've installed software. It's kind of how it goes. Because clearly, if the number of look good, then the people must be safe. I mean, isn't that kind of really the whole concept? I mean, I've always thought that that's how it was supposed to work. If the numbers are good, people must be safe out there. So that's like saying on your Fitbit hits 10,000 steps. Well, you're guaranteed to live to 100. No, that's not the case. I thought that's how that works. So we love to measure what's easy, not what's meaningful. The classic organization behavior 101. If you can't prove it, then you're doing something. If you can't prove that you're doing something productive, you can at least look busy doing something measurable, even if that something is nonsense. I mean, you know that this is how this goes. This is not anything magical that I'm telling you. The irony here is the following. We spend millions installing these systems, but then complain about the lack of engagement. Yeah, because nothing screams engagement like knowing that your boss can see how long you've been in the bathroom. I'm just waiting for the next innovation, AI-generated discipline letters. Dear Employee 1248, our systems detected 12% decrease in eye contact with your monitor last Thursday at 3:47 p.m. Please reread the company values on integrating synergy. Yeah, we joke, but let's not forget, this isn't just about tech, it's about philosophy. When we strip away the buzzwords, what we're really saying is we don't trust you to do the right thing unless someone's watching. And that's not safety. That's paranoia wrapped with a PowerPoint. I've seen organizations that tracked every hand movement online but can't name a single person who actually works there. That's when you know that data is more important than people. They know the data, not the people. And when something goes wrong, they pull out graphs instead of a conversation. But there's the thing. Data doesn't heal people. Spreadsheets don't build culture. And dashboards don't save lives. You know what does? Connection. The messy, human, unpredictable thing that can't be measured by an algorithm. So maybe, just maybe, we need to stop trying to capture, quote unquote, everything that we're trying to do and start understanding something. Maybe the real metric worth chasing is how safe people feel, not just how safe they look on a chart. Because if people are afraid of getting written up for blinking too slow, they are not thinking about working safer. They're thinking about surviving the system. And if you don't know the truth, this is what we've built. In a system obsessed with if you have a system that's obsessed, instead of looking at what the system produces, look in the mirror instead. And try to remember what your mission was when you originally started. Now, I'm not saying throw away your fancy tools and go into full analog mode, because that's not what I'm saying at all. But technology is not a villain here. Our intent is. Use the tools to learn, not to just lurk. Use data to ask better questions, not to police behavior. And for the love of all human beings, stop calling it employee optimization. You're not tuning a car. You're leading people. Safety isn't about how much you can monitor. It's about how much you can trust. And the funny thing is about trust, once you start measuring it, you've already lost it. So maybe the question for today is, who's watching you? Maybe it's why we do what we need to do. And maybe, just maybe, the answer is sitting somewhere in the middle between the signal of what really matters and the noise that keeps pretending that nothing really does.
Oops! What did he just say?
We at Safety FM don't always agree with the viewpoints of our hosts and guests.
Now back to real safety talk on Safety FM.
Don't go anywhere.
You're listening to the home of real safety talk.
You are listening to Safety FM. We'll be right back.
You ever hit the wall, burnout, stressed, or just feeling that everything is piling up and thought, yeah, I probably need to talk to someone? The problem is finding the therapist who actually takes your insurance feels impossible at times. That's where Rula comes in. Rula is a healthcare company that makes mental health care easy to access and actually affordable. They partner with over 100 insurance plans, so the average copay is about $15 a session, sometimes even less. With Rula, you get matched with the right therapist for you, not just whoever's available. Their network has over 15,000 licensed professionals, and you can book an appointment as soon as tomorrow. No wait list, no frustrations, just therapy that works with your schedule and your insurance. Thousands of people are already using Rula to get affordable, high-quality therapy that actually covered by insurance. Visit Rula.com/safetyfm to get started. After you sign up, you'll be asked how you heard about them. Please support our show and let them know that we sent you there. That's RULA.com/safetyfm. You deserve mental health care that works with you, not against your budget. Go to Rula.com/safetyfm right now to get started. That's RULA.com/safetyfm, because you deserve mental health care that works with you, not against your budget.
Is your safety training old, stale, and hacked? Is your safety trainer still preaching a warped version of behavior-based safety? How about safety training that actually addresses your hazards in your workplaces and is not standardized baloney from 25 years ago? Contact the Safety Wars team at safetywars.com or call Jim Posel at 845-269-5772. Remember, if you're receiving this message, you are the solution to unsafe workplaces.
This portion of the show has been sponsored by Private Internet Access, America's #1 virtual private network, or VPN. Even if you use incognito mode, internet service providers is storing your browser data and many times even selling it. But Private Internet Access, or PIA, can help you. PIA encrypts and reroutes your internet traffic through one of its own servers, hiding your data from your internet service provider or network admin. And with servers in over 75 countries, you can get unrestricted access to geo-blocked content from around the world. PIA comes with easy-to-use apps and browsers extension for all devices, a rock-solid privacy policy, open source security, advanced customization settings, and it was just ranked the fastest VPN in the world by PC Magazine. And if you sign up right now with PIA, you can take advantage of a special deal only for Safety FM listeners.
Only by using the following link, you can get the digital privacy for less than $2 a month. Yes, you did hear me correctly. Less than $2 a month and an extra 4 months for free. So that means for only $1.98 a month and 83% off, you can get this service for you right now. That's so much more inexpensive than virtually every other VPN on the market. And if you get it right now, you can take PIA's 30-day risk-free challenge. You can try it out for 30 days, see if you like it, and if not, just return it for a full refund. So just go to safetyfm.com/VPN. That's safetyfm.com/VPN to try out the best VPN on the planet completely risk-free. Now remember, safetyfm.com/VPN.
We are radio. We are sarcasm. We are both combined. Radio Big.
Every soul without a name. The observer watches motion. The catalyst lights the spark. The vessel carries memory through the static, through the dark.
We are fragments of a greater tone. Each transmission not our own. All the voices in the wire call again. Each one whispering, remember.
Okay, here we are on the Rated R Safety Show. 45 minutes past the top of the hour. As you and I are hanging out this morning on Radio Big and on Safety FM, doing our thing. Yeah, this right here, this one's called Archetypes of the Signal. Yeah, I haven't released it yet. You heard me. You heard me correctly on what I just said there. So no doubt there whatsoever. Okay. Yeah, apparently music producer at night is what it's starting to sound like around here. Okay. So thank you for the architects of the signal. Just some things to think about as we are talking. Okay, so let's get back into the move and the groove of things that we have going on, no doubt about that. Let me tell you about the most important thing that I will ever tell you in my lifetime, and that's about my friends at To Write Love on Our Arms. No matter what you're facing, you deserve to be connected to help. We want you to know that people have been where you are now, and things can get better. Healing is possible. To find out more information, all you have to do is go to TWLOHA.com. That's TWLOHA.com. To Write Love on Her Arms. Once you get there, go all the way to the far right-hand side and click on the section that says Find Help. Once you get there, you'll see information related to addiction, depression, anxiety, eating disorders, self-injury, suicide, trauma, and grief support, just to name a few. That's TWLOHA.com. To Write Love on Her Arms. So that will do everything for you as we are talking and hanging out. TWLOHA.com. Okay, so let's start talking about some other stuff going on. I got a couple of news stories that I'd like to share with you because, we talked about this for months on end, and it seems like there's a resolution-ish, kind of. Justin Baldoni just took a major hit in his $400 million defamation crusade against Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds, and, of course, the New York Times. A judge has officially entered the final judgment, tossing the case, effectively closing the door on Baldoni's high-stakes legal campaign, at least for now. The End With Us actor and director had been given the chance to fix his complaints after it was dismissed back in June, but missed the deadline to refile. On October the 17th, the U.S. District Court Judge Louis Lehman warned all sides that he'd finalized the case. Lively was the only one who responded, asking for the court to dismiss it for good and to keep her request for legal fees alive. The judge agreed Baldoni can still appeal once the fees issued is settled. Baldoni's massive lawsuit stemmed from the New York Times expose detailing Lively's sexual harassment accusations against him on the film, claims that he has reportedly denied after Lively came forward that Baldoni and his company, Wayfarer Studios, hit back with the defamation suits against Lively and her husband Ryan Reynolds and her publicist Leslie Sloan. And now that case is toast, leaving him to deal with Lively's ongoing sexual harassment and retaliation suit instead. Lively Legal's team isn't pulling any punches either. They're demanding reimbursement for legal fees and accusing Baldoni's camp of hiding evidence using encrypted apps like Signal and even auto-deleting messages to cover their tracks. The claim claims that he and his PR team engineered a digital smear campaign to damage Lively's reputation. So there you go. Like we talk about all the time, controversy creates cash, and I guess that's one for you. In some other information before we move forward, are you familiar with Shark Tank? Well, Robert from Shark Tank revealed what billionaires have in common.
Number one is absolute obsession about their skill set. Not about the world in general, but about that one thing. Like all the billionaires I know would struggle on Jeopardy. Right. General knowledge doesn't get rewarded. Interesting. Specific knowledge. Like I don't know a single billionaire that isn't a world-class expert at a very narrow task. The second one would be curiosity. It's hard to be abundant if you're not curious, right? Like I love to learn. And the third one would be discipline. Now, discipline to me is fit body, fit mind, fit business.
Okay, so there you go. I guess I have just shared with you the secrets from Robert in regards of how to become a billionaire. Hopefully that works out for you. Let me know if it does. If the show had any impact on you, I would love to hear, just in case. Okay, with that being said, why don't we do something a little bit more positive, even though I don't think getting more positive being a billionaire can be positive. But anyways, let's bring some John Smalls into our life and let him tell us about the Motivation Minute.
The Motivation Minute, courtesy of GenesisGoldIRA.com and JaceCaseMedical.com.
The Motivation Minute.
Today's quote was submitted by Sharon. Albert Campus said, "Men must live and create. Live to the point of tears." I might be doing it wrong. I don't live to the point of tears nearly enough. Only a few times. I remember working on an Independence Day event, a labor of love. I poured my heart into it. It was very well attended, and everything just seemed to be perfect. During the fireworks show, I literally got goosebumps while the music was playing. It was music we selected. The visual was perfect. The audio was perfect. Everything was perfect. Then I looked away from the fireworks to see thousands of smiles lit up by the light of the show. It brought me to tears. That was a cool night. Those were good tears.
The Motivation Minute.
The Motivation Minute, courtesy of GenesisGoldIRA.com and JaceCaseMedical.com. I'm John Small. Thanks for listening. Your favorite motivational quotes can be submitted for upcoming programs at motivationminute.org.
Here is the news on the Rated R Safety Show.
Recent elections in several African countries have concluded with opposition candidates sidelined and results disputed.
Protests have erupted in multiple nations as young voters express frustration over the outcomes. Analysts warn that these trends could further weaken democratic institutions and embolden military takeovers. The continent's mix of youthful populations and aging leaders is fueling unrest and deepening political divides. Joseph Eckerson reporting.
The bodies of 3 Israel Defense Forces soldiers, including American-Israeli Omer Nutra, have been returned from Gaza by Hamas.
The return marks a significant development in the ongoing hostage situation following the October 2023 attack. Nutra's family expressed gratitude for the return of his body and renewed calls for the release of all remaining hostages. The Israeli government has reiterated its commitment to securing the return of every hostage still held in Gaza. Benjamin Wright reporting.
Avalanche conditions on Mount Yalung-ri in Nepal have claimed the lives of 7 climbers, including 5 foreign nationals.
Rescue teams are working to recover those still missing in the affected areas. The incident has prompted renewed safety warnings for mountaineers attempting high-altitude climbs in the region. Authorities are investigating the causes of the avalanche and reviewing safety protocols. Chris Anderson reporting.
This is the latest news headlines.
The U.S. government shutdown has now reached its 35th day, approaching the record for the longest in history.
Millions of federal workers remain without pay, and essential services are being disrupted. The political standoff continues as both parties remain entrenched in their positions. The shutdown is affecting air travel, health care, and food assistance programs nationwide. Lawrence Keller reported.
President Donald Trump's approval rating has dropped to 37%, the lowest of his second term, according to recent polling.
Public dissatisfaction with the economy and government performance is widespread. The upcoming elections are seen as a critical test of public sentiment toward the current administration. Many voters cite economic concerns as their top priority. Kyle Norris reporting.
Air traffic control shortages have led to significant flight delays across the United States.
Controllers are required to work without pay during the shutdown, raising safety concerns. Transportation officials warn that the situation could worsen if the shutdown continues. Airlines are adjusting schedules and rerouting flights to manage the impact. Kevin Sanders reporting.
Open enrollment for 2026 health insurance plans has begun, but enhanced Obamacare subsidies are set to expire in December.
Without an extension, many Americans could face steep premium increases. Democrats insist on including subsidy extensions in any government funding deal, while Republicans demand the government reopen first. Health policy experts predict average premium hikes of 30% if subsidies are not renewed. Jessica Oakley reporting.
And that's the latest news headlines with Alan Edwards.
In order to save the planet from cow farts, why doesn't someone just invent really large Gas X pills?
God, what's that awful stench? Radio.
Okay, it definitely sounds like it's getting stenchy around here, no doubt about that. Let's talk about some things that happened back on this date. If I'm taking a look around, it looks this way. If I take a look at 1963, John Lennon utters his infamous Rattle Your Jewelry line that happened back on this date in 1963. Let's see, what else do we have? Let's look at some birthdays going on for today. Laura Bush turned 79. Ralph Macchio turned 64. Jeff Probst, 64 as well. Kathy Griffin turns 59. Sean Diddy Combs, yeah, you might be familiar with him. He turns 56 today. And Matthew McConaughey turns 56 as well. So there you go. If you want to know some things that you did not know, let's talk about this. Tonight's Mega Million jackpot will be for $800 million. Last night's winning Powerball numbers were 3, 32, 40, 43, 57. Powerball was number 18. Power Play was 2. Let's see what else. OpenAI and Amazon have signed a $38 billion deal that enables the ChatGPT maker to run artificial intelligence systems on Amazon's cloud computing services. OpenAI will get access to hundreds of thousands of NVIDIA specialized AI chips through Amazon Web Services as part of the deal. The agreement comes less than a week after OpenAI entered a partnership with longtime backer Microsoft, which no longer the startup exclusive cloud provider. For its part, Microsoft announced yesterday $9.7 billion deal with artificial intelligence cloud services provider Iron that will give access to NVIDIA chips as well. What else do we got? The U.S. Senate reconvened yesterday afternoon for possible funding bill as the federal government shutdown moved one day closer to record 35 set in 2019 by President Trump first term. There has been 13 unsuccessful procedural votes at the House passed continuing resolution, which would fund the government on November the 21st. So there you go. Some stuff to think about as we are talking. Anyways, that's going to sum up our time together at the top of the hour. I will be going over to radiobig.fm if you want to come and hang out with me for the next couple hours or so. Would love to see you over there. If you don't, that's perfectly fine. You can hang out here with the likes of Sheldon Primus, as he will talk about the world of safety consulting. If I can't give you some advice for today, I would love to give you this. If your bananas ripen, open quickly, then you can eat them. There's a hack for that. Wrap the stems of the bananas in aluminum foil to help them last up to 5 days longer. Fresh out of tin foil, plastic wrap is totally a viable alternative, but then we could be talking about microplastics. Who knows? Anyways, I know who you are. No, seriously. You know who I am. Love ya, mean it, and goodbye.
The views and opinions expressed during this broadcast, podcast, or radio show are solely those of the host and guests and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of Safety FM and or Radio Big. The content discussed, including examples of analysis, is provided for illustrative purposes only. It should not be applied as the sole solution in real-world scenarios, as it is based on limited and dated open source information. Any assumptions made during this broadcast, podcast, or radio show are not reflective of Safety FM and or Radio Big. No portion of this broadcast, podcast, or radio show may be reproduced, stored in a retrieval system, or transmitted in any form or by any means, electronic, mechanical, recording, or otherwise, without prior written permission of Safety FM and or Radio Big. For permission requests, please contact Safety FM or Radio Big directly.